In one of the Modern Day Geeks videos, we compared the Nintendo Switch versus the Steam Deck. With all the debates around these two highly competitive handheld consoles, let's try to look away and check out some other handheld consoles that most of you have never heard of. You obviously have heard of portable consoles from Nintendo and PlayStation like the Switch, classic DS Lite, PSP, and even tablets and gaming phones. Are you one of those people who are just so tired of mainstream console gaming and dare to explore what the industry has to offer? Well, you're watching the right video. Stay with us as we introduce you to 5 handheld devices that you can add to your console collection. And remember folks, this isn't a comparison video. But of course, before we get into it, hit that like and subscribe button maybe? Or, I don't know. Yeah, anyway. The first console that we will talk about is the ONEXPLAYER. The ONEXPLAYER was developed by One Netbook, a company focused on developing high-performance mini laptops. Thus, it isn't a surprise for a company like One Netbook to create a handheld console that runs like a PC. Upon opening the console, you'll see a Windows 10 operating system. And yes, you could browse the net, watch YouTube, or check your social media using the ONEXPLAYER as if it's a PC. It has both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You could probably do work-related stuff on this gaming console, but of course, it would be difficult to explain to your boss that you can do work on a gaming console. It offers a full touchscreen interface. There are 2 main variants, the ONEXPLAYER 8.4-inch and the ONEXPLAYER Mini 7-inch. Each has its sub-variant depending on the storage capacity. The mini version costs around $1,080 with 512 gigabytes of storage, while the 2TB version costs around $1,420. You can pick between an AMD Ryzen 5800U processor or the Intel i7-1195 G7 on the mini version. However, it only has an integrated graphics card. Thus, the Intel version only has Iris Xe, but it surely can run modern games at more than 60 FPS. It also offers 16 gigabytes of RAM that is enough for gaming. The ONEXPLAYER 8.4-inch version only offers you a choice between Ryzen 5800U that costs $1,449 or Ryzen 4800U, which costs only $999 for less power. If the size matters to you, ONEXPLAYER is the way to go. It has a screen that's 2 inches larger than the Nintendo Switch and a higher resolution at 2560 by 1600. Unlike the Switch, ONEXPLAYER has pressure-sensitive trigger buttons, so it's actually really good for real racing simulators like Gran Turismo because you can fully control the amount of pressure that you put on the trigger buttons. It has USB-C ports for charging and data along with a headphone jack and micro SD slot. However, it isn't recommended to put PC games into the micro SD because it might cause some software problems. Thus, download and install games directly from the console itself. AYANEO. The AYANEO Next Advance is the newest console in the AYANEO series. The AYANEO Next Advance has some performance upgrades and a better look to it. It offers a powerful Ryzen 7 5800U with a 2TB NVMe. It features an integrated Radeon Vega graphics card that is enough for you to play modern games at high FPS. All of this for only $1,415. A cheaper AYANEO variant is the 2021 version, which only costs $1,015, which is almost on par with the new one. The screen is a little smaller than the ONEXPLAYER, with only a 7-inch 1280 by 800 screen. Unlike the Steam Deck, AYANEO runs on a Windows machine. For your information, the Steam Deck runs on a custom-made Linux machine. Thus, gaming compatibility isn't as great as you can expect for now. Similar to the previous one on this list, AYANEO can serve as your mini handheld PC in certain cases where you don't need as much power as a real desktop computer. A Windows machine means that any game compatible in Windows is compatible with this console, like Red Dead Redemption 2, Forza Horizon, Need for Speed Heat, GTA 5, Witcher 3, Doom Eternal, and more. Playdate. The Playdate is quite different from the rest in this list. It's sort of like a niche handheld console that is catered to retro games. It's basically a cute and tiny device that features a processor that is enough to run its retro-like games. Although it looks like a device from the past, it features Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and an extremely loud speaker. You can actually turn it into your alarm clock to maximize its loudspeaker. The newest thing on this gaming device is the crank. At first, you might think it charges the device as you spin. Although that's a good idea, it is actually used as an analog controller, which allows you to precisely control your game character. The Playdate has this gimmick wherein games get a lot of surprise games, like a fortune cookie, but with games. This means that every week you'll receive 2 brand new games for 12 weeks straight for free. The games are random, so you wouldn't really know what games would come next. Since this console is young and fresh, expect more and more games in the future. If you can't wait for the upcoming games, you can create your own game for free using its Pulp Game Maker. It's a browser site that allows you to create games specifically for Playdate. You can easily put your newly built games onto your Playdate device. Plus, you and your friends can share your own games with one another. All this for only $179. GPD Win 3. If you want a powerful gaming console that fits right into your pocket, the GPD Win 3 might be the one for you. It's only about 5.5 inches. It's literally as small as your smartphone, but with built-in joysticks and buttons. The GPD Win 3 flexes an i7-1195 G7 processor with 16GB RAM and a 1TB SSD storage. Pretty good for a small device, right? It runs on a Windows operating system, so you don't have to worry about game compatibility because what runs on Windows will run on this tiny machine. What makes the GPD Win 3 unique compared to the other devices on this list is that the GPD has a built-in physical backlit keyboard. All you have to do is slide the screen and type. This makes typing so much easier. Plus, you have the ability to fully customize your controls on certain games. Plus, 4 more custom buttons on the back of the device. Despite only having Iris Xe integrated graphics, it can run modern games like Monster Hunter World at 120 frames per second and The Witcher 3 at 87 frames per second. Pretty good for a small device, right? If you want more FPS in this device, you can easily plug it into an external graphics card via USB 4, which has around a 40 gigabits per second transfer rate. Surprisingly, this tiny PC-like device is equipped with dual vibration motors, which adds to the gaming experience. In addition, it has a fingerprint sensor that makes logging in a little easier. All these features for only $1,289. Alienware UFO. In 2020, Dell teased a handheld gaming console. However, due to some circumstances, it hasn't been released yet. This concept device is called the Alienware UFO. Similar to the Switch, it has removable controllers that allow you to play certain games in different manners. You could dock it, hold it, or play it however you want. Unless Dell introduces a new gimmick that makes it more preferable than the rest on this list, the Alienware UFO might be in danger once it's released. Dell wanted its Alienware UFO to be used by gamers who play online with their friends, thus discouraging local multiplayer. Meanwhile, Switch has the best of both worlds, online multiplayer gaming and offline split-screen gaming. If we're talking about power, ONEXPLAYER, ANEO, and Steam Deck would probably be Dell's top concern. Having a more powerful processor and graphics card would make the Alienware UFO a more preferable choice than its competitors. However, we have no information on how powerful the Alienware UFO will be. So, what do you think? If you're looking for something different, trying any of these underrated consoles might be the answer you're looking for. Or, just get a gaming PC. Kidding. Unless... Anyway, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, because in this channel, we talk about gaming, tech, films, and everything under the sun. We're the Modern Day Geeks, and we'll see you in our next video.